Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome back to Synth Stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about recreating the initial synth sounds that you hear in Underworld's classic track, Born Slippy. Coming up. As I've mentioned before, Underworld is hands down my favorite group, and I have done one of their songs before. I think I did Dark and Long on the Phantom 6. I showed you how to put together that song in different parts using the Phantom 6 sequencer, and I will put a link to that one up here and also in the description below if you want to see that. I went into the different parts and bringing in the rhythm tracks and the bass and so on, all the different parts of the song. This one's going to be different. I'm talking about the opening of Born Slippy, which sounds like this. Fucking YouTube. I had literally 2 seconds of Underworld's Born Slippy. Just the very beginning, 2 seconds, and YouTube struck my video because of copyright. So if you want to hear what Underworld Born Slippy sounds like, well, you're about to because I'm about to recreate it. But if you want to hear the actual song, type Underworld Born Slippy and into YouTube and you can go see it. Better yet, go somewhere else where you're not helping YouTube monetize stuff that they're stealing. Don't get me started. Okay, back to the video. This is, without a doubt, Underworld's most popular song. It's the one when they perform live, they play at the very end of the show as a topper because people just go wild for it. It's definitely their best known song. If you've ever seen Trainspotting, you know this song from that movie. There's 2 parts of that sound. You can hear there was a stab to it and then an underlying pad. The stab part was done on a Juno 106 originally. The underlying part, I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot of debate as to what synthesizer was used to create that sound. Some people say it was a Waldorf, but I don't think that's probably accurate. It does sound wavetable-y to me, and it almost sounds like there might be sample. I'm not quite sure. That said, it's a fairly simple sound to recreate. The stabby sound, because it's just Juno 106, it's definitely easy to create on any synth. And in fact, my System 8 has a preset in there that's literally called Born Slippy, and it sounds like this. That's great, and it has that stab sound, but it does not have the pad underneath it, although it could. In order to create this, because there's 2 different sounds, we have that stab and the pad underneath, we need a multi-timbral synth, or at least a bitimbral synth. That means a synth that can play 2 different sounds at the same time. The System 8 can do that. It has an A and B. You can layer or split them. The Summit also has A and B layers. You can split them. Montage has up to 8 or actually 16 if you count MIDI different parts, and each of those can have 8 different parts, so no question the Montage can do it. The Phantom, again, like the Montage, you can have almost, not infinite, but a ton of different layers. So definitely can do it. Hydrasynth, again, A and B, 2 separate copies of the same synthesizer inside it. So definitely can do it on the Hydrasynth. The Modal Cobalt 8, no. Actually, can it? Well, it does have the 2 different oscillators and you can mix between, but the effects and everything are shared. So no, not in the Modal. Definitely the Wave State could do it. Maybe the G8800 could do it. The Gaia 2 cannot because it's a single monotimbral synth. So let's talk about how that's actually done. And the Summit is essentially 2 Novation peaks, and each of those peaks operates as a complete separate synthesizer inside, and they just call it synthesizer A or B or layer A and B. You can put them so that they are layered so that both sounds play across the entire keyboard, or you could have layer A only on the left side and layer B on the right side, or that sort of thing. I did do this sound originally on the Summit, and you can hear. And then I also did it on here. A little bit different on this one. I think I might change how that actually worked on this one. It's coming a little closer, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do this on the Summit. And by the way, this is the second time I've done this because I've already shot this video once, and after 45 minutes of shooting, I went to pull all the video off my camera, and there was nothing there because the camera had died, and I almost threw it across the room. So we're going to try this again, and hopefully it's going to be better the second time through, right? I love using the Summit for sound design because it's very truly knob per function and it's so quick to get what you want. So what I'm going to do here is we initialize layer A and layer B, so we have just a sawtooth on both, and we're going to go into the level settings here. Level B we are going to set down to 0, so we're only listening to part A. So, and that is a single sawtooth wave on oscillator 1. So we are going to change that to a 16 lower because we want it to match up with the pads underneath. And we're going to actually bring up the levels of 2 and 3 because there's 3 oscillators here. Oops. Levels. So now they're all playing the same thing. On oscillator 3, 1 and 2 I'm going to leave as a sawtooth. Oscillator 3, I'm going to change it to a pulse width. Okay, and we'll bring in the other ones. And then I'm going to change the tuning of oscillators 2 and 3 slightly up and down to give it some chorus effect. Give us some width. Maybe the shape a little bit. Oscillator 2. Okay, that's a good basic sound to start with. Do we want any noise in there? Probably not for this one. We might do that with the pad later on. Next, the filters. Resonance. All right, so we've got some filtering going on in there. The next thing we're going to do is, because it's a stab, and we don't want the stab just to be, well, let's put the stab in there. Start with the amplitude. We're going to take the release and put it down to almost nothing. Actually, we will put down to 0, sustain to 0, attack 0, and we're going to have a little bit of decay. So let's listen to what happens as we start. We have nothing. We're going to bring that decay up. Okay, so now we've got something that we play it, even though we hold it down, it just goes away. So we've got a pluck that only plays once when we play it. Now we're going to do the same thing on the envelope for the filter. So let's bring that sustain down to 0, attack to 0, bring the decay up, and we want to put some envelope depth into the filter so that this actuates the filter. A little more resonance. There we go, that plucky sound that we're looking for. So at the very beginning of the sound, we have it very quickly closing the filter. And that gives it that sound. Give it more of a transient. Maybe a little bit slower. Okay, let's bring some drive into that. Some grit. Good. Okay, so I like the sound of that. Now we'll go over into the effects, and we have distortion. Not too much, but chorus. We definitely want some chorus. But we're going to slow it down so we don't get that swirly. And now the secret sauce of this. Now we want the tempo to be at 140 BPM, which is what the song is at. And what we want is a quarter triple on the delay. So I'm going to bring the delay up. We're going to sync the delay to the BPM. And on the screen, we're going to bring that up to 4th triple. And let's bring some feedback up and see how that sounds. A little too much feedback. And then we'll bring in just a little bit of reverb. Too much. Nice. Okay, so let me talk about how we actually play this. It's a very, very simple chord sequence. There's only 2 chords. The first one is an E flat major. So it's E flat, G, and B flat. And then the next one is a B flat major. So it just, however, the B flat major is the first inversion, so we're going to move up. So instead of B flat, D, F, we're going to go D, F, B flat. So it's going between those 2. And then on the second one, which is the B flat major, we're going to add a 7th, which is the C. So we're going to add all those together. So if we start with the E flat major, and we're going to go to the B flat major 7th, and then we're going to repeat the B flat. And then below that, we're going to add a E flat. And on the second one, we're going to bring in a D to anchor that root of the second inversion of the B flat major. Very simple. That's it. That's our first part there. So we're going to bring down level A to 0 and bring up level B, and we're going to edit level B. So now we're back to editing a sawtooth. So what are we going to add for the sawtooth? I think we'll do the same thing. We'll bring up 2 sawtooths, and actually the third one, I think we'll put a triangle in there. And we'll bring in some fine detune. So you can hear it without, and then with. This gives it some motion. A little sizzle of resonance there. We don't want too much top end because we don't want it overcoming the pluck, which is the important part. So bring down the overdrive as well. Now, let's make this a little softer. We're going to bring in some attack and leave some release. That's better. A little more attack. Okay. What else can we do with that? Let's use this LFO 1. I'm going to leave it as a triangle at low speed, and we're going to have that affect the filter, just to give this some motion. So LFO 1 depth, that's too fast. I'm going to exaggerate this so you can hear it. I'm going to slow that down. Okay, so now we'll reduce that depth so we don't have so much happening there. Just give it some swell. Maybe a little faster than that. All right, I think I like that. Now we need some chorus. Lots of chorus. We want no delay on this one, but we do want lots of reverb. That's a little too much on that. All right, so now we're going to bring level A back up, and I'm going to bring level B down a little bit because we don't want it overpowering the stabs, so let's get a balance there. So I've got the level A at 127, which is the max, and level B I've got at 80. So let's try that together. I think I'd probably bring level B down even more. Try like 70. And you'll notice when I play the B flat the second time, I'm lifting up the C, because you don't want to reinforce that when the pad is still playing the C, because you want that C to go away out of the pad. So you hear that C, which is the 7th here, and then it goes away. So that's it. That's how I created the sound on the Summit. I did mention that I did this on the Montage as well. I'm not going to recreate it on the Montage because that'll just take too long, but I will show you how I did it. And I did 2 parts. The first part is an A and X part that has the sawtooth. The second part is the pad. If we listen to the sawtooth part, the stab, and then the pad. And because the Montage has all these wonderful sampled pad sounds, there's quite a bit more you can pick from. I thought that was quite a nice one there that I used. So let's have a look at the sawtooth, which I use the ANX engine for. You could use AWM for this, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But if we look at oscillator 1, and I'll bring this up on the screen, you can see it's just a simple sawtooth. Nothing special about that. Oscillator 2 is the same thing, sawtooth, but if you notice it has a little bit of pitch change on it just to give it that chorus effect. And then the oscillator 3, same thing again, a little bit of chorus. It's a square wave with a little bit of pitch down to give us the chorus. Then we have the filter, which shows that I've just got basically a filter going on in there with a little bit of envelope generation to give it that little sound, that cutoff that makes it plucky. And then for the amplitude, again, same thing. We just have a attack with a decay going down to a 0 sustain to give us a quick plucky sound. Now the effects, we have 2 different effects. The first one is the ensemble detune, which is kind of like a Juno 106 chorus. And the second one is our tempo delay. If we look at the tempo delay, I've got it set up as a quarter triangle again with left-right diffusion set as 0. And I want that because if I have that up, you get stereo. That's not what I want at all. So we put that down to 0 to make sure that is mono to get rid of that. And that's exactly the sound that I wanted. Let's talk about what else we could use for that. If I mute this one, and we could add a sawtooth AWM. So if I just do a search for saw, and I'm going to pick an attribute of AWM2, which it already has on there. How about a multi-saw? That's too much. Well, we can try that. Let's see how it works. So now we go into edit that, and we want the general and pitch, filter and amp. So here's our filter, and once again we want no attack, no sustain, quick decay, and we want some cutoff in there, a little bit of resonance. A little more decay, or there we go. Too much resonance. All right, then we want our amplitude again, no attack, no sustain. More, a little less. All right, and oops, we want to go back to here, and then we want our effects, and we will put that chorus in here. Where chorus here, and I think it's ensemble detune, and then down here we want our delay. And what did I use on here? I think it was the tempo cross delay. Is that what I used before? No, it's not. What did I use here before? Tempo delay, that's what I used. All right, so where's our routing? We want to make sure that's turned on. That's a quick demo of how you might do that with an AWM sound. I probably would have picked a different sound, but that's just a demonstration. So I'm going to mute that one, and let's go and look at the solo of the pad, how we did that one. Very simple. It's just a bright pad called the breath. It has 4 elements to it. So if I go into the element editing, the first 3 are sounds and the 4th is a sound effect. So if I listen to element 4, it's this kind of weird sound that I didn't want part of that, so I got rid of that. Element 1 is this, like a cymbal, and then part 2 and 3 are actually tones. So what I did is I brought 2 and 3 up all the way, and then I brought the cymbal sound just down a bit. So that's what I used for the underlaying pad. And then for filter and amp, you can see for the amplitude, I just put it just literally, just a nice long attack and a nice long release. The filtering, I didn't do anything at all. For effects, do I have a delay? I don't think I have anything in there for the effects. Then for all of the common parts, if you have a look at the effects, I have just this Space Simulator reverb setup, which I really like, that has this really cool sound to it. So if we listen to all of these together, except for this one, we'll mute that, we don't want that. There you go. Now, I think I probably still have too much of that noise in the pad sound, but it's an example of how you can do it. You can pick the sounds and edit them how you want to do it. And that's it. Born Slippy, done on 2 different synthesizers. I guess I probably could have done it on this one as well. But you get the idea. Really, it's easier showing it on the Summit because all the controls are here, whereas this is a little tougher the controls are smaller and it's tougher to show on this one, but it's just as capable, and you probably get a really decent pad sound out of that as well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below, or a request for any other songs you'd like me to do sounds from like this. If you have any corrections, of course, please leave them in the comment section below. I definitely appreciate those. And if you could take 1 second to click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching.